My heartiest namaskar, especially to the dignitaries on the dais and the dignitaries in the front rows in the audience. To all the delegates, my namaskar, my good morning, and Jai Swaminarayan to all. Well, the topic for the talk today, given to me by the administrators of this conference, is balance sheet of life. We are all the people sitting here dealing with balance sheets day in and day out. But those balance sheets of accounts, it all money matters. But this is something different, the balance sheet of life. Because we live in this 21st century. And the state of affairs of the 21st century man and the 21st century society. We read about it, we know about it, we have heard about it. That these are the times of fancier houses but broken homes. These are the times of double incomes and more divorces. These are the times of high-rise buildings and low-rise characters. These are the times of broader highways but narrower viewpoints. These are the times where man has gone all the way to the moon and has come back. But he finds it difficult to cross the road and meet the new neighbor. These are the times where man has broken the atom and he has produced tremendous amount of energy. But he finds it difficult to break a prejudice. We have broken the atom, but we find it difficult to break a prejudice. The list is very long describing the state of affairs of the 21st century man and society, but in short you can say that these are the times where we have much to show in the show window and nothing in the stock room. दिखाने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, लेकिन हृदय में एक शुद्ध भावना, मन में पवित्र विचार वो कम होते जा रहे हैं. इसलिए whenever I talk to chartered accountants, I've talked in n number of occasions of chartered accountants at WARC, at SIRC. 2 years back in SIRC we had 3,500 chartered accountants. My very good friend, he was the chairman of SIRC, Mr. Falguna Kumar. He invited me for the talk at Tirupati, and about 7-8 years back in Mumbai, I talked to like about 2,200 chartered accountants at Yogi Sabhaguru in Dadar. So I always have a good rapport with the chartered accountants. So whenever I talk to them, I say CA is not just a chartered accountant, but CA also means a careful analyst of life. CA. CA is not just a chartered accountant, he also means a careful analyst of life. आप लोगों की कंपनीज की बैलेंस शीट बनाते हो, आपके जीवन भी की एक बैलेंस शीट बनानी चाहिए, बनाते होगे, लेकिन I'm going to infuse some good values into it today. The first important aspect of making a balance sheet of your life very well is that we have to introspect that basically we are the only existence upon this earth that we have been gifted with the power to think by God. No other animal has this. We have been gifted with the power to collect information, the power to transform that information into knowledge, and ultimately process that knowledge into wisdom. But the miserable state of affairs is that very less percentage of this information has been transformed into knowledge, and perhaps very, very less, 0.00001% perhaps of that knowledge has been transformed into wisdom. And so we are not able to make a good balance sheet of life because we have not processed that information into knowledge and knowledge into wisdom. Your job as professionals is to make balance sheet of companies and individuals. Our job as saints is to make you understand better the balance sheet of life. So we are all into the same profession, making balance sheets. But we are into a different sphere. So we need to introspect Why am I a specially privileged entity upon this earth who has this power? And to utilize that power judiciously makes us a complete human being, gives us a balance sheet of life. Because perhaps in this 21st century, very sad to say, but the real story is this: literate people have caused more damage to the society than illiterate people. So these bombs and missiles are not made by illiterate people. I'm now justifying my statement. These bombs and missiles and weapons of mass destruction are not made by illiterate people. They are made by some of the best science graduates from some of the best universities. Okay, again, thefts and crimes performed by illiterate people are small. If they commit a theft, it is 5,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees. And if a literate person deciding to do and go for it, and in power perhaps, he can do 1 lakh crores, 1.5 lakh crores, 2 lakh crores. So literate people have caused more damage to this society than illiterate people. And sometimes in the worst unethical practices that a profession goes into, he can maneuver the balance sheets of companies, and that is also causing a big damage to society, the government and the nation. If somebody goes, majority of you don't go. But if somebody in your profession goes, he can maneuver things, maneuver balance sheets. And for the small petty profit or benefit of this company, he can create a huge loss to the society, the exchequer. So today, the literate people, they cause more damage to the society than illiterate people just because of one reason, that they lack in the basic ethical values, the sanskars of life. That is the principal reason that would adjust your balance sheet of life well. We need to focus on that. Too much of leaning towards materialism and lesser importance towards morality and spirituality is one of the principal reasons where our balance sheets are not gaining equality at the end. But remember one thing: too much leaning towards materialism in life has got severe repercussions and could damage our life physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You should always have a balance of materialism and spirituality in life. That would balance your sheet well. Because if there are 100 things that money can buy and make you happy, there are other 1,000 things that money cannot buy, and you still need them to be more happy in life. After this seminar, you go back home and make a good balance sheet. The left column is things that money can buy: a flat, a bungalow, a car, a farmhouse, an office, all the things that money can buy and make you happy. And on the other side of the balance sheet, you write down things that money cannot buy: trust, friendship, relationships, truth, health. That money cannot buy, and you want it to be more happy. You will find as a chartered accountant that the left hand side column stands no position in front of the right hand side column, that things that money cannot buy and you are happy. You have to give a thought once in a while to it and lean to have a proper balance of materialism and spirituality in life. We always feel that more money, more happiness, more luxuries, more happiness, but it is a wrong notion. And the biggest disease of the 21st century professional. So they are not able to make their life a balanced one. I sometimes jokingly say that we feel that for me, heaven upon earth, and me, hell upon this earth, is a very simple definition. Me means we all. That if I get a combination of these 5 things in life, it is heaven on earth. And if I get the combination of the other 5 things, it's hell upon earth. The combination of 5 things that we feel that can make heaven for me upon this earth is this 5 things. American salary, if you are paid in dollars. A British house. A German car. An Audi or a Merc, Skoda or a Rolls. Chinese food. 4 things. American salary, British house, German car, Chinese food, and Indian wife. This 5 combination, if I get in my life, it's heaven on earth. And you know the reverse of it, the hell on earth? Indian salary. They say Chinese house because sometimes people live in boat houses there. They don't have enough space to live. So they live in boat houses. They say German food. They say American car. So 4 things. Indian salary, Chinese house, German food, American car, and a British wife. Because they say 3 W's, they change in Britain anytime. Weather, wine, and wife. They change in Britain anytime. And perhaps that could be the reason, I don't know, that at the start of every website they have www. At the start of every website they have www. Maybe because of this reason, that you can open up and get anything from it. Just lighter moments apart, what I mean to say is you need a balance of materialism and spirituality to make a balance sheet of your life. Otherwise you will repent at the end of your life if you have not balanced it well. Napoleon Bonaparte said, I can buy any riches upon this earth and under the sun. I can have the world at my feet. But I haven't seen 6 happy days in my life. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. His limousine cars were studded with diamonds. And the cavalcade of 7 limousine cars. When the President of America did not have it, he had it. And he was the first superstar, perhaps the greatest entertainer the planet has ever seen, traveling by private jets. First jet would take him and his team, and the second jet his audio system at the stage. When he was just 21, there were more than 30 Elvis endorsed products in the market. And his biographer, he writes that Elvis is only the second person in history to become famous by the first name after Jesus. That popularity. Self-earned $1,000 million in 1975. By the year 1975, when he was just 32, self-earned $1,000 million. The king of rock and roll. Today at his memorial in Memphis, every day from all over the world, about more than 1,000 people visit. At the age of 33, when once his secretary, she stepped in, he was playing his famous composition, How Great Thou Art, on his piano. And his secretary asked, Sir, how are you feeling at the peak of your career? And he dropped his hand from the piano and said, Alone. Arey bhai sahab, every day in the evening you get an audience from 1,000 to 5,000. People wanting to see you. And you, after doing your famous swivel, he would open up his leather jacket and throw in the audience. And within seconds it would be small pieces. People would take a Elvis souvenir back home. That fame, and you say you are feeling alone? And on 16th August 1977, at the age of 33, Elvis took 40 sleeping pills at night and never woke up. He committed suicide. At the age of 33, at the peak of his career. Absolute and overwhelming desire for materialism in life and over-leaning towards it will land you nowhere. You need to have a balance of materialism and morality and spirituality in life. Otherwise, we can be a good loser, made Napoleon Bonaparte or Elvis Presley. I have hundreds of these examples. So when I talk to professionals, I come from one of the largest organizations in the world, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha. We are among the top 10 NGOs of the world with a permanent seat in the United Nations as an NGO. We do 162 different kinds of activities all over the world. How many of you been to Akshardham at Ahmedabad or Delhi? Just raise your hands, like most of you. Such 1,200 campuses we have in 60 countries of the world. We have more than 100 hospitals, hostels, schools and colleges. And everything of this 1,200 campuses and 1,000 social institutes created by one person, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, single-handedly and successfully administered it. आपके पास तो एक ऑफिस, एक सेटअप, एक घर होगा तो भी शाम को 5 बजे तक तो पागल हो जाते होंगे. So such 1,200 campuses all over the world. He single-handedly erected those and successfully administered it. He initiated more than 1,200 saints like us. Out of them, more than 750 of us saints are graduates, postgraduates, chartered accountants, doctors and engineers. And nice to tell you today that more than 8 saints of the organization, they are chartered accountants, CAs. Out of them, 2 are from Africa and 1 is from the US. I think they call it the CPA there, something. Yeah, and 1 is from London. Out of those, about 150 saints are born American and British citizens. Out of those, about more than 50 saints in the organization, they are Cambridge, Oxford, Stanford, Yale, Carnegie Mellon graduates. So standing in front of you today, trying to give you some insight into balance sheet of life is not just a couple of books that I'm coming in front of you. We are deeply involved in the administration and the management of this organization, so we know what is administration, what is no management, we know what is HR, we know what is networking, we know what is infrastructure and system. We are 8 hours into it. What I'm talking to you now is my part-time job. It's not my full-time job. It's my hobby. To share and care for the society. And I've been talking since 24 years. I have not charged a single penny to anybody for my talks, not even today. It's just my selfless service to society. Why I'm telling you this is US professionals have one-side experience of professionalism and work. We have two-side experience of professionalism, work and spirituality. So I can talk to you about it from the balance point of view. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, you created this organization to this level. And I tell you, it's easy to run a corporate, difficult to run an NGO of this class. Because in your corporate work structure, you have pay and smile relationship between the employer and the employee. The employee likes the pay of the employer, so there is a smile on his face. And the employer likes the work of the employee, so there is a smile on his face. It's called pay and smile relationship. Here in NGO, we have serve and smile relationship. You have to serve selflessly, lifetime, and keep a smile on your face and smile in your life. Difficult to run an NGO of this level than a corporate. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was successful in running this NGO to this level. And the amount of hard work that he put, he traveled to 18,000 villages in 60 countries in his lifetime. We have seen him at the age of 70, 75 and 80, at 12 midnight, traveling to deep Adivasi hutments, bettering the life of people. People used to write to him for their personal or family issues. He read and answered more than 7.5 lakh letters in his lifetime. At an unbelievable average of reading and answering 70 letters a day for 45 years without a Sunday. एक व्यक्ति कितनी हद तक काम कर सकता है, मैं आपको अंदाज देता हूं. 8 घंटे आप काम करें ऑफिस में और शाम को माय गॉड टू मच टायर्ड, ये कभी मत बोलना. He met more than 2 million people personally, converts with them. He personally visited, as we have come to your occasion today, 3.5 lakh in his lifetime. He was a one-man organization, one-man army. Why I narrated this to you? That because he had the balance of work and spirituality in life, he was always at peace with himself and peace in the surrounding. Balance of materialism and spirituality. When he was asked which thought remains with you 24/7, he said, the thought that has never entered my mind, shall I tell it first? And that was more interesting. And he said, the thought of hurting anybody physically, mentally or emotionally has never entered my mind. किसी का अहित हो मेरे जीवन में कभी वो विचार नहीं आया. This is spirituality. आप तो जानने की कोशिश करते हो कि मेरे जो कॉम्पिटिटर है उसके पास क्लाइंट्स कितने हैं, कौन कौन क्लाइंट्स उसके पास जाते हैं, और वो जो क्लाइंट है उसके पास तो पहुंचने के लिए मेरे पास एक मिडल मैन है. आई कैन टेल हिम दैट यू कैन कम टू मी, नॉट टू हिम. थोड़ी अंतर्दृष्टि करना. उसके हिसाब से, उसके नसीब से, उसकी पढ़ाई से, उसके काम से वो कुछ कमा रहा है. ही इज लिविंग हिज लाइफ by your education, your know-how, your experience, your dignity. You work and you earn. Simple. One thought of spirituality can balance your life. There are hundreds of such thoughts which can balance your life well. So CA is not just a chartered accountant, he is a careful analyst of life. CA. So for balance of life, to make a good balance sheet of life at the end of your life, I take seminars with professionals and I teach them a system that I have devised out of my reading and experiences and traveling all the world and meeting professionals. Every second day I'm talking to professionals at some or the other place. I've devised a theory that 8 plus 8 plus 8 is the system for balance sheet in life. Of the 24 hours that you have in your life every day, it should be well distributed into 8 plus 8 plus 8 system. आपको प्रवचन में और कोई बातें याद ना रहे तो ये एक बात घर लेके जाना. 8 plus 8 plus 8. First 8 hours of the day, your honest, ethical hard work in your profession. First 8 hours of the day is your honest, ethical hard work in your profession. Second 8 hours is a good sleep or rest. Third 8 hours are very important. If you're not able to manage the third 8 hours of the day, you may lose your life. And if you can well manage the third 8 hours of the day, you can well win your life. The third 8 hours of the day, we teach, it is 3F, 3H and 3S. 3F is family, friends and faith. 3H is health, hygiene and hobby. And 3S is your soul, service and smile. This 9 departments should consume the third 8 hours of the day. Of course in fragments. If you can well distribute your day into 8 plus 8 plus 8 system, it is a good balance sheet of life. A good balance sheet of day and thus your life. Again I repeat, the third 8 hours are 3F, 3H and 3S. 3F is family, friends and faith. 3H is health, hygiene, hobby. 3S is soul, service and smile. Into this 9 departments you distribute your third 8 hours of time and it is a balanced life, well lived. So you don't have complaints from any quarters of life, from any people in your life. Because you have lived a balanced life. You have given even enough time apart from your profession to your family, to your friends, to your faith, to your health, to your hygiene, to your hobby, to your services, any NGO or any good cause of the society that you are involved with. So well distribution of time, well balance of time, that can give you a good balance sheet of life. वरना कंपनीज या प्रोफेशनल्स की जो आप बैलेंस शीट बनाते हो पैसे की, अपनी लाइफ की बनानी बहुत जरूरी है. अदरवाइज यू विल रिपेंट एट द एंड ऑफ योर लाइफ. मुगल सम्राट औरंगजेब बोले सारी जिंदगानी फिजुल गई. नेपोलियन बोनापार्ट बोले, आई हैवंट सीन 6 हैप्पी डेज इन माय लाइफ. तो ये बारी आपकी न आए एट द एज ऑफ 70 और 80, इसके लिए ये बात और विचार है. And I sometimes jokingly say that the amount of money that is in your bank account when you die is the extra work you did, you shouldn't have done. आपको जरूरत नहीं थी, क्योंकि आपके मरने के बाद वो पैसे कहां जाएंगे, कैसे जाएंगे, किस तरह से यूज होगा, वो आपको तो पता है नहीं. So now in America, Millionaires and Billionaires Club has started. The basic criteria for membership in this club is that you have to pledge and donate 80% of all your wealth. Only then you become the member of this club. और उसमें thousands of people हैं. Because the power of money is in giving, not accumulating. To understand this basics of spirituality gives you a balance sheet of life. बैलेंस शीट ऑफ योर लाइफ अगर आपने अनएथिकल प्रैक्टिसेस की तो एक दिन बिगड़ सकती है. अनएथिकल प्रैक्टिस करके आपने किसी की बैलेंस शीट तो सुधार दी, लेकिन आपके जीवन की बैलेंस शीट बिगड़ जाएगी. बिकॉज यू हैव चीटेड विथ योर कॉन्साइंस. चीटेड विद द एक्सचेकर वो तो बात की बात है. You have cheated your own conscience because with your own hands and own mind you have done something wrong. An unethical practice will land you nowhere. आपकी बैलेंस शीट बिगड़ जाएगी. Remember, no pillow is as soft as a clear conscience. आप रात को सोते वक्त सबसे अच्छा पिलो कौन सा है आपके लिए? A clear conscience that I have not done anything wrong today. And if you do something wrong, you are into the animal phylum, not the human phylum. And unethical practices की तो आपकी बैलेंस शीट ऑफ लाइफ जरूर बिगड़ सकती है. Even if the name of your company is Satyam and you go for asatya practices, you can be in jail for 7 years. A man of 8,000 crores. Let's step up. Even if you are the Sahara of thousands of families by creating homes for them, you can still lie Be-Sahara in Tihar for 4 years. Hayana, a man of 20,000 crores. Even if you are the king of the skies, you have to leave India without an Indian passport, on a diplomatic passport. आएंगे जनाब थोड़े दिन में वापस भारत में. एक्स्ट्राडिशन की बात चल रही है. लंदन कोर्ट ने ऑलमोस्ट डिसीजन दे दिया है. एंड व्हेन he'll come here and open his mouth, lot many people can be in trouble. Yes or no? So even if you are Raju or Raja or king or anybody, unethical practices can land you in jail. Unethical practices can ruin your career and your life. And the stress that comes in because of unethical practices, when you are caught, your balance sheet of life is spoiled permanently. You will lose your career, you will lose your practice, you will lose your life, you will lose your family. So थोड़ा प्रॉफिट मिले उससे आनंद में रहना, लेकिन एथिकल प्रैक्टिसेस कभी छोड़ना मत. That is your lifeline. Even if you are, after becoming an electrical engineer, for example, 30 years of practice with the Maharashtra Electricity Board, you don't have the right to put your finger inside the plug. आप प्लग के सामने बैठ के अपनी उंगली दिखाओगे कि I am the chairman of the Maharashtra Electricity Board, 35 years of distribution of electricity under my belt, and I am the absolute power authority. This is my finger. ये कह के भी आप प्लग में अंदर उंगली डालोगे, electricity doesn't know your post, position and power. It only knows human flesh and blood. चिपका देगी, मर जाओगे. उसी तरह एथिकल अनएथिकल जो प्रैक्टिसेस हैं वो आपकी पोस्ट पोजीशन पावर को नहीं पहचानती. आई एम अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट प्रैक्टिसिंग इन मुंबई सिंस 40 years. Whoever you are, unethical practices is like electricity. It doesn't know your post position and power. चिपका देगी, मर जाओगे. Am I right or wrong? I'm asking the elders. Absolutely right. They have years of experience sitting in the front and leading from the front.